good. We continue on. Episode 4, Taloa. And this is in 2008. Now, obviously, a year after Maya's mother died, and a year after the father went to New York and joined the tracksuit mafia. We see that Fisk is waiting in the truck, waiting in his car, and waiting for Maya to get ice cream. Like she just got out of like whatever, and she's going to ask for ice cream, and she's saying like she wants like something. Like I want this. He's like, and the guy's like pointing it out. Like she's trying to tell her. She's trying to tell him in sign language, and even tell him in visual aid. Like I want this. Oh, get the hell out of here, whatever. And another detail I didn't notice this. Fisk's hand shakes when he did that. Just a little bit, just a little shake. I'm like, uh-oh. He's like, all right. And then Maya gets in the car. He's like, I didn't get no ice cream. He's like, oh, be right back. And there's an ASL translator in there too, by the way, in the car. I didn't know that he was in the corner. He gets out, just basically, and again, another wrestling reference. WCW, the Giant versus Rey Mysterio, which basically just threw his ass everywhere and just murdered him with his big, gigantic hands. Once again, I had to explain. I didn't have to explain, but I love to explain to my girlfriend this little fun fact that she didn't know about this. The Kingpin is basically 90% muscle, 90 to 95% muscle. He was a big boy. He was a very big boy, but after time, he didn't like to be called fat, so he just trained constantly. And he is a bare knuckle brawler and fighter like Kingpin, like Daredevil's dad. So they're both a fighter and all muscle. That's why, in a good callback to Hawkeye, when he got shot with a freaking arrow in the heart, he looked at her like, bitch, and just broke it off because it wasn't going to do anything. And at the same time, Hawkeye shot him with 5 explosions that went one way and another way, and he still got up, got shot in the eye. We'll talk about that in a second, and still survived. So that's the durability of Kingpin. But he has a fragile side, because when he did that, he called whoever he called, probably his lawyer or the suit or the guy who makes suits, and says, I need a new suit. I don't want Maya to see this. I don't need her to see this. Now, Maya's there, and he tells her, without sign languaging it, like, you don't need to see this. You need to get out of here. Her first response was go to him and just start kicking his ass. Because I'll be like, I want some ice cream. This is your fault, not mine. And then he felt some kinship with her, like a surrogate daughter. And then we go to where we are now. Guards come from behind her because, again, she's freaking deaf and doesn't really hear. Guards behind her, they rustle her, and then with the eases of if a feather touched the water, she put, and I said that too. He put the we call that the
contact lens.
Contact, yeah, like so easy. Like I'm like, oh wow, like people fight for hours for that, but okay, you did like it's nothing. Okay, cool, whatever. And then we find that he gifted her and speak to ASL machine, basically. Now, before we continue, question: smart idea by Fisk or just lazy because he didn't want to learn ASL? It's been 17 years since he's met her.
Just you know what? I appreciate he went for the AI. He took a long time to design it. I mean, he's a Kingpin. You know how much he put. I mean, whoever designed it for him, and engineers. Because if we see the Spider-Man comics, he has Smite and others were engineers that work for him. But talk about being a Kingpin. You can market that and make so much money with that invention. So that's why I saw it as a business aspect. He's probably testing it out there. He's going to make money because remember, he's a Kingpin. He's got to make money and keep his empire going. He's all about making money and profits. Now, what I wanted to talk about was the scene there with the ice cream man. He was so rude. It's an enlightenment of people who don't understand people with disabilities. They don't from deaf, mute, autism, or even Asperger's don't even understand how to deal with a person. Sometimes it frustrates or gets that person, or not the victim, the person does not understand that frustration. I kind of see that there, why Kingpin got bothered, ticked him off there with the hand, like when he was a child. He went back to when he was a child with, again, if you know his origin story, with the abuse. And I like the fact that he didn't want the young child to see that side, and went around the corner and just annihilated him. I mean, bludgeoned him. And of course, they didn't want her to see him bleeding with the blood around him and what he's done. But then as a child, she goes curious, the curiosity of a child went to go see. You saw Maya, like you said, the evil side or the villain side, enjoy the guy getting beat up. Yeah, you didn't give me no freaking ice cream. You deserve it. And then she goes and kicks him. He identified with her right there, like, I wanted to do. If I was a child, I wish I had someone to protect me or watch over me, so I could do that to my father, to be kick him when I was younger, or I felt I could. He identified with her with that being miscast or outcast at that moment. So I guess I appreciated that from that aspect, that they're joining that, forming that bond together there. Someone that understands him, because we saw that with Vanessa in the Netflix series. She understood him with that painting. Remember that painting?
Yeah.
That is that he falls in love because it looks like the wall that the father made him look at
Yep.
many times. So she understood him. Now another female young lady understood them there. So at that point I was like, I could get where he gets close to Maya, but then I had that question I wanted to ask this one: where was Vanessa? That right there triggered me as well. What happened to her?
That's true. Yeah, because she was still with, and then they did just acknowledge that all the Netflix shows are all canon from. So yeah, where the hell was Vanessa? Because in Hawkeye, that was 2025 early. So at that time, Daredevil has already happened. He already lost Vanessa, and Punisher has already whooped his ass. So at that time, yeah, what was Vanessa? And why was he eating without, like, hey, Vanessa, this is my surrogate daughter, Maya, that I've been
Right.
taking care of. Super nice person. Like, that's the question. Were you ashamed? Were you just ashamed of showing Maya to Vanessa? That's the question. Another question back at you. Like, that's a good point. Like, you had
Could
a
it be?
shitload of ASL interpreters, but only one Vanessa.
Let me ask this: could it be that he didn't want Vanessa to think that maybe Vanessa could have children, and by
Yeah.
him being showing his love to a child, kind of felt take away or jealousy? Because
Yeah,
could be that. I don't know. Just hypothetical.
that's a good point. It's sad to think about that, but that's true. But we get to that. We get to that around the fifth episode because
Yeah,
it delves
yeah.
into more spirituality. Now, when they get there, he gives her a bottle of wine, says, "Open it up," she immediately dumps it. It's a Lafitte. We find out it ranges from $300 to $20,000. So, and Fisk never looks for it. He always gets recommendations. Another callback to when he was with Vanessa, and his lawyer or his best, like his assistant, said, "Look, you need to say this and this and this and this and this and this and this," and
Correct.
she'll like it. And then she's like, I think your assistant should be here instead of you, because I like him more than you right now, because he's awesome." I'm like, oh shit. So Fisk was a little pissed off about that, but again, he was out of good terms. Then they had some nice little Levine cookies from New York. They talked. He did tell her that I will give you my organization. I will give you my empire. Just come home. You have a day to decide. Okay, sure. And when the next day Maya went to Henry and told her about the proposition, he says, hell with that, you're crazy. She gets a vision. At the same exact time, Chula at the Choctaw Powwow Festival gets a vision as well. We get another vision of a time that we'd never seen before. Someone was getting sprinkled with water in a field in a forest. Someone was giving birth. And Maya Henry sees this. And his first instinct was not take her to the hospital because she's having like an epileptic seizure. No, take her to Chula. Just dropped her off. See ya. And he left. I love that little instinct. Like, oh, my job is like, I don't know what the hell's going on here. Boom. It's like a guy going to the Walmart to buy period stuff. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. That's just me. Now we go a little bit more. Chula explains that, again, we find out the bloodline is connected to the first Choctaw woman, which is Chafa. She explains that these are visions connected to all our ancestors. Maya is still mad at Chula for abandoning her after her mother's death. And Chula kind of admits that she messed up, but kind of doesn't, because he was set in her ways. They were both stubborn. The mother must have skipped a generation of stubbornness because she was the nicest one. She was. So That night, Maya goes to Fisk's hotel with the intention of killing him. Mind you, he goes over there. He has his back turned. He turns around. He says, "Look, I know you want to kill me. This like just if you want to do this, then here." He brings out a box. And throughout this whole time, we never see, and this is a nice little detail that I have to say this, we never see Fisk cufflinks, the cufflinks that his dad had, the ones that he kept to remind him of what his dad did, the ones that Kate from Hawkeye threw at the bombs and threw at him. There's a ring now, and I kind of realized that. Yeah, so the ring that he has on now might be the new cufflinks, kind of like remembers his father because of that. He gives him a box, and it's a ball pen hammer. Now, before people who are going to watch this be like, well, in Daredevil, no. Okay, ladies, give me a second, okay? All right.
I'm glad you're saying
In the Daredevil series, Fisk did kill his father with a normal hammer with a hook in the back. In this series, he has a ball pen hammer. Now, we saw a video right now that kind of explained that a hammer of a hook is meant to take out things and to destroy, right? But a ball pen hammer is meant to weld, seal, and forge it and make something with it. So maybe in a manipulation type of way, the ball pen hammer represented how he can control Maya with this hammer. You can forge her into the way you wanted it instead of the hammer that he killed his father with, which was meant to destroy.
the construction.
That type of hammer is meant to hammer and destroy. It's not meant to, whatever. And then he does the nice little toxic, come on, hit me. You want to take me out? Come on. I know you. I'm sorry. I was about to go to. I'm sorry. I was about to go. I know what you did last summer. Sorry. She doesn't. She drops the hammer. I'm out. He tells her, look, you can have the Empire. Just come on the plane with me. We can go. We can. We could just go. Okay. He repeats the invitation to join New York, and then the next day, Maya gets the hell out of there. Takes the thing out. Doesn't take the contact lens. Leaves Taloa by herself. His guards tell Fisk, we lost her. She's gone, and we assume he had a temper tantrum and ripped the seat out one of the planes. We don't know, but he kind of like either he ripped the seat out of the plane or he killed the assistant that told him that Maya wasn't coming.
Yeah, I mean,
probably the latter. So, leaving on that,
yeah.
What is your thoughts on the episode?
No, I mean, I will say, like, the more you watch this series, it does kind of make you realize how, like, sad and dark Fisk's story is.
Yeah.
And, like, especially that scene with the hammer, because, like, that is such a brutal thing to, like, even suggest somebody do. And especially to a guy like that who's just a freaking Goliath. Like, that was purely, like, masochistic on his part. Like, he wanted to just, like,
end it,
get that trauma out of him. So I do like that we see that, and, like, we see how he's kind of trying to shape Maya into this, like warrior of his own kind of thing. So, and it's and Maya goes through a lot, man. Like, people in her life have just been rough to her. Like,
but at the same time, to counter that, when she killed that person at that time she was around 17, 18.
Yeah, so like she was 18 or 19. Yeah.
18 or 19. She chose that life from then on out.
She snapped. It's like,
exactly.
I'm gonna follow this anger right now.
So, what are your thoughts on the episode, Mr. Kevin?
Yeah, the episode, especially where like you mentioned that hammer, like you mentioned the two different. The claw hammer is for demolition, to construct, to break down, to destroy. The ball peen, you construct things, like you said, rivet, make things together. He knew what he was doing there. I know people was like, that's not the same hammer. No, but he was doing that. It's a symbolism. Free yourself. If you're really thinking that this is gonna bring you that peace there, go at it. I'm gonna turn my back, have at it, hit me in the back, whack me in the back of the head. It's similar to a little Star Wars reference. Strike me down and I will be more powerful than ever, and with the lightsaber. So that's Disney keeping all that Disney stuff together there, or I don't know if the writers purposely wanted to bring that in a full circle. I also wanted to see more about, like, what happened after the plane. when she with the contact lenses? Was there because he knows he's a slick devil. He probably has a tracking device, knowing where she's
No, he
at any
did.
moment.
He said in episode he has a tracking on it. He does. The tracking's gone, sir. We lost her. So yeah.
And she came aware of that. So she recognized that, and then she had some tough decision because that was put on the table. Now let me ask you this: knowing the way Fisk is, did you ever believe that if she would have went back home to New York, it would have been hunky dory?
Yeah.
You
Because
think? Okay.
yeah, because think about it this way. He could have taken her out for the longest time, and I think he's the one that made the bounty against, because again, he was trying to find her in the end of it all. Like, he found her, right? He could have taken her out there. He could have taken her out to dinner. He could have taken her out the second time. He never did. He has the power to take her out like it's nothing, but he never does. But I think he just wants to, again, have a daughter, have someone that understands where he's coming from. Like, they both grew up with damaged things. And he just, again, no Vanessa. He ain't got no Vanessa anymore. Shout out to Blue Vega, como está cabrón. And Kiki back. So I think he would have been like a puppet dictator. Let her have it, but then still have control over everything. Because remember, everyone respects Fisk, and we kind of find out through the detective thing. Kingpin was there during the blip. He didn't get blipped out. So while everyone else was gone, he could have just picked up all the pieces and made his own empire like it's nothing. Maya didn't get blipped either. So it was Maya and him just doing the whole thing.
Rolling.
It shows that he went to the police station, not the police station. He went to Maya and picked her up after Maya tried to hotwire the motorcycle and threw it out there. He walked past the police station. One guy's like, "Hey, back up. What the hell's wrong with you? Let him go." He had power when the blip started. Now add 5 more years when everyone came out of nowhere and he already had everything set up. But the hiccups of Punisher, the hiccups of Daredevil, the hiccups of he lost his wife, the hiccups of everything he did was his own doing. And the only person he had left was Maya.
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes down to it, he was ultimately just lonely, and he would have given up having having that seat of power and giving it to her because she's like the prodigal daughter.
But still have the seat of power. He still would have been the boss, but like he would have told everybody, she's the face, but I'm the boss. And it would have been like that. And it would have been she's not stupid. She would have figured it out eventually. And then that would have been a war. And then again, but that's something that may or may not happen. We go.
Let me ask you this real quick before you get to the next topic real quick. You know when Fisk tells Maya this is going to be our last dinner together when she's a little more older and she was confused? Could it be that's when Vanessa was introduced in his life? So he's like, you know what? I can't have any jealousy or any 2 women juggle, a love interest and a daughter here. This is going to be our last dinner because kind of I'm going to go and get entertained by a female who understands me in the physical aspect. I mean, I'm just paraphrasing. Do you think that's where he meant by, because I was like, why does he not want to continue to have these dinners with her? Like he's putting a stop to her when he sends the interpreter to get killed in the plastic that she gets shot up.
Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. I think so. I think it was going to lead up to that, to Vanessa. Again, this is before after he killed the second, the second translator. Maya was 19 before Hawkeye, before anything else. So yeah, I think, and even then, that's a deeper question because time passed. She was in the Hawkeye series. No mention of Vanessa, no nothing. So he kept her in the back pocket as a surrogate daughter that no one knew.
Which made her even more isolated.
Yeah. Like, you're my perfect